Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining today. And thank you, ELB, for sponsoring this. I'm Christy Pater. I'm with Lenovo, and we're going to talk today about virtual classrooms and hybrid learning. There's two people on the call that have joined. Adam Moss from Lenovo side kind of works with end user customers in the West Coast. And then we've got a guest speaker who's actually implemented one of our solutions and has been in virtual classrooms for a long time, but I'll let him introduce himself when he speaks, Troy. So I'm just going to start and kind of walk you through a little bit about what Lenovo's been doing around hybrid classrooms. We've got really three different platforms that we support in the virtual learning model. We've got Microsoft Teams, Google Meets, which we'll spend some more time on today, as well as Zoom. And we're seeing kind of a variety, as I'm sure your experience, around what virtual learning is for the classrooms in the K-12 market and higher ed, whether it's a master teacher model, a teacher who's maybe got an expertise in an area where teachers are hard to come by and is teaching multiple classrooms. Whether it's a hybrid model where some students are at home, but we need a guest speaker to come in, and I need to be able to communicate with teachers that are students that are home and both in the classroom, as we still have a lot of uncertainty of what's going on with the state of in-person learning today. And obviously there's a lot of demands from students to be able to offer some type of virtual learning, whether it's special needs type students, whether it's students with certain living capabilities, or whether it's COVID related. That is something that is still pushing forward as schools kind of struggle to figure out what the next phase is going to look like. Concurrent classrooms is another way where multiple classrooms are joining together to learn. So lots of different models around what this is going to look like. So I don't know what it looks like for you, but I'm going to just quickly highlight Lenovo's portfolio, and then we'll turn it over to Troy. And let's keep this, open flowing, ask questions as we go, ask questions of Troy, because he has a lot of experience in this too. So I'll start with Google Meets, which is what Troy's going to kind of deep dive in, because that's what he's spent time deploying in his classrooms. So this is our solution from Google Meets. It's called the Google Series 1. This is on the Google Meets platform. This is easy to deploy. There's 3 different kit sizes. There's an XL camera. Everything is magnetic. What's great for deployment, if all of you are involved in deployment, is it's PoE. So if you have experience around USB extenders, the great thing with running your own fiber Cat6 cables and crimping them and ease of deployment, each piece of the puzzle has one cable and is PoE. This is also the first kit. If you have any experience around Google Meets, it's actually designed by Google. And why that is important is because the Google software is actually baked into the hardware. So the Google TPUs are in this soundbar here. When I first boot it up, it'll actually calibrate to the size of the room. And Troy can, I'm sure, speak more to the audio quality. But especially not in teaching or in conference rooms, while we know video is important, because I'm not just seeing dots on the screen, I'm actually seeing faces, and it's a great way for us to stay connected virtually. But if there's no audio, or if the audio quality is bad and I can't hear, especially in instructions, the video does no good. So audio is still number one in virtual learning, and video is important as well, but audio is number one. So when it calibrates to the size of the room, the other thing it has is something called True Voice. And the way True Voice works is it's able to identify actually 24 different non-human sounds and block them out. So in a classroom, chairs going back and forth, binders clicking, someone slapping things, all that, it blocks out that background noise and focuses in on the active talker or the instructor, so students at home are clearly able to hear. You're going to manage these solutions through the Google Admin Console. Again, 3 different kit sizes. What we see mostly in the classrooms, and Troy can speak to that as well, is the medium kit followed by the large kit, less opportunities for the small kits in the classroom. Both the medium and large come with the touch control here as well. Shifting gears real quick, we also have solutions if you're using Teams in your classrooms. We do have a couple different solutions for Microsoft Teams. One of them is basically a modular kit called the Think Smart Core. Perhaps you've got ceiling mics or speakers in the ceilings. It's kind of an integrator's kit as one option. And we have a complete kit, depending on the room size, to be able to offer a camera and soundbar and mic plus. There's two versions of that basically. And actually, this is the same for Zoom. So if you're a Zoom shop, we've got the same for Zoom. In the modular solution, the Zoom kit should be coming out in the next month, but we've got the Teams version today. And then we've got this all-in-one solution called the Think Smart Hub, available again in Teams or Zoom. Scalable, just much like the core, but for those smaller, maybe resource rooms, we've got the built-in microphones and speakers already into this all-in-one unit. I just need to add a camera. A lot of schools use these things on carts, so they're taking carts, maybe not video enabling all the rooms, but they're video enabling some of the rooms, and they need to be able to move them. Both of these can work well in a cart type situation where you have a monitor displayed, and you've got your microphones and speakers and your camera above to be able to move in and out. So those are the three platforms. Before I turn it over to Troy, and I should mention that there's a management feature called Think Smart Manager on our Think Smart devices for Zoom and Teams. So it allows IT, like Troy, to be able to log in and manage many classrooms for video. There's actually even a premium version of the software that actually gives push notifications. So if I'm an IT director and I'm out to lunch even, I would get a push notification that there's a problem with Mrs. P's room. And I could actually look on my mobile app and get some basic diagnostics, maybe do a quick restart of the device. I can do all that virtually. There's also even some AI built into the camera. The camera I'm using here is a 4K camera. It's able to track me as I walk around the classroom. So if I was speaking around the classroom, it actually even has whiteboard awareness. So if I had a whiteboard here, it would recognize that I have a whiteboard here. If there was anything around attendance, it actually counts the number of participants in the room, and I would be able to get that information from Think Smart Manager. So really, these solutions are designed to be scalable, quickly, easy to deploy, easy to manage, and cost effective. And we've got Adam to be able to help you on any of your opportunities on the Lenovo side with the ELB team to pair together to make sure we make the best recommendations for the best virtual or hybrid learning situation for your specific district or school. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Troy.
Thank you, Christy. So my name is Troy Sigvaldason. I'm the IT supervisor for Prairie Spirit School Division in Manitoba. We are just outside of Winnipeg, a couple-hour drive from balmy Winnipeg, Manitoba. And Prairie Spirit is a big geographic division. So we're about 70 miles by 70 miles. We go from the U.S. border up to the Trans-Canada, and 70 miles across. And we are comprised of 30 schools, 34 buildings total. We got some divisional buildings that we have. And we have 23 of our schools are in what we call our blended learning or distance ed program. Within those 23 schools, we have 38 distance ed or connected classrooms. And we've been at this a long time. I've been in this chair for about just shy of 15 years. I'm currently working on our third iteration of our distance ed program of the hardware. And ultimately, every time we try to do it, or every time we do an upgrade, we try and get better, faster, more user-friendly, very student-focused. And prior to the pandemic, we've been running, we're G Suite for Education School Division. We've been running Google Meet as our platform for a long time, and the pure integration of all of this hardware into that Google world made life so easy. We went from a separate standalone solution that had its limitations to something that just blended right into everything that we were already doing. And through time again, try and grow and build and be faster and better and more user-friendly. We got our mitts on the Series 1 here. And thanks to Christy for that. We were one of the early adopters, fortunately, to be able to get our hands on it. And this is the next evolutionary step for us in this program. I always like to focus on small versus big when it comes to choosing this equipment. And it's the small things that really matter and carry. In schools, it's active, it's loud, it's moving. When you're trying to connect maybe 8 schools at the same time, you learn really fast that your school bells aren't in sync. It takes 2 minutes for the bells to ring across every building. National anthem plays at the start of the day. It never starts at the same time, that kind of stuff. So the true voice part of the Series 1 has been a game changer for us. There's no background noise anymore. Right? You didn't hear me clap, did you? You don't hear any background noise. It's unreal. So kids clacking binders together, slapping papers around, sliding their desks and chairs, doors slamming in the hallway, kids walking through the hallway. We don't have that carried across our schools anymore. Huge change. And it may seem like a small thing, but it's something that we've dealt with for years leading up to now. The AI that's also built inside of the camera and the framing portion can be super easily controlled. If you can believe it, you might have kids that sit in the back of the classroom and they got 2 rows of desks that are empty. You can do the frame participant portion, which if I click there, it finds me in the room and it zooms in on it. So the 2 kids that are sitting in the back trying to hide, the camera will focus in on them and now the teacher can see them and see them clearly. The audio portion again too, there's 2 types of kids, so to say, when it comes to the way they speak. One kid's going to be super duper loud and potentially overwhelm the other rooms, and the other kid might just look down and talk really quietly, and the teacher can't hear them. The microphones, like the little pucks that these things are, we've got them mounted in the ceilings, in the frame ceilings, and they're picking everybody up. So it's everything that we needed it to be. It continues with that integration into the G Suite world. When we are doing our classes or our timetables for this, it's super easy. It's all based out of Google Calendar. So our teachers that are teaching over these systems, and there's about 17 teachers, they just create their class, set their time, choose their room or rooms that they want to connect together, schedules in place. So it pops up on the touch screen that comes with the Series 1. They tap the class they're in. The kids that are in the other rooms walk up, tap the class, they're in. The smaller room option offers a remote, so the kids can be a little more portable. There's no need to try and mute anymore in between things with the background noise being eliminated. So many pros that have come our way with this, and I mean, we're hearing it from the teachers, and we're specifically hearing it from the kids. And because we're small and rural, I'm hearing it from the parents, and that's again the important part. We're hitting a home run here with this system. Any questions for me?
Any comments or even how you're using it? Jason, did you have a question?
Yeah, feel free.
I think you're asking me. I was going to ask you how you found out about this product, or how it was introduced.
Dumb luck and having YouTube notifications enabled on my device. 100% is how I found out about it, and that was in like November, December of 2020. And that's when I started hammering my reps. How do I find this thing? Give it to me now. How do I find this thing? What it's worth? And that's when I met Christy. And all of a sudden, I had gear in my hands. And we were able to take a little bit of time to experiment and test. Blown away again kind of by what it was. We got it into classrooms. As the pandemic kind of changed, we were able to add it into classrooms. Like, we're not only teaching, specific courses from one classroom to another. The pandemic made it so that we had to do some social distancing in the classrooms. We couldn't fit all the kids in. So now how do you connect 2 classrooms that are across the hallway from each other or down the hallway from each other with one teacher trying to run them? This gear did the trick for us too, and it's still active in regards to. We still have students having to go home and isolate. Running through Meet, the kids are brought right into their classroom or classrooms. They can take it from home. We have hockey academies that do some pretty significant road trips. The kids are sitting in the bus with a connection back to us, and they're still in class, and it's just that free flowing thing. So. A little further answering than what you asked there, but that's how we got to it and where we've gone through to it, and to the point where we actually had an article written about us in the Winnipeg Free Press early in the pandemic-ish stage once we were floating this gear out, dubbing us pandemic proof. because we didn't miss any classes. We were rolling. So, yeah.
Now, Troy, did you go from zero to hero, so to speak, or did you have an intermittent solution before that? Teachers were using cameras and microphones on Chromebooks or something like that, or what did that space look like?
Right. I mean, like prior to this, like I'm going to age myself a bit here, but 25 years ago, excuse me, when I was sitting in a high school classroom in this school division, I was taking courses over what we dubbed IITV. It was a Frankenstein surveillance system over a wide area network or over a WAN. And that's where the concept of all this started. And we went to a proprietary solution right when I started working for Prairie Spirit, which would have been 2008, 7, that kind of deal. That worked. And again, we were very reliant on the WAN, but we were very, very in a silo with that solution. That led us to when it was time to flip, we went to the Google Meet world because we were already a Google for Education at that time school division. And that integration is where the spark happened. And then, the equipment we were using was fantastic for what the time and everything in front of us. And then, like I said, once you start to look at upgrades and flips again, you're trying to go better. And we've absolutely done so this time around.
What do you see going forward, Troy, just in as people are going back, how do you see any changes going forward and how you're going to continue to use virtual learning?
Well, again, we've had a distance ed program for years, and we're going to, steady as it goes and grow. We went from having 8 schools connected to 23, and that's in the last 4 years. We're a small school division. Enrollment is dwindling in some areas, growing in others. We have some true rock star teachers in some schools with an enrollment of 5 kids into their pre-cal class. And we've got other schools that don't have a pre-cal teacher, but they got kids that want to enroll. So we can't hire that rock star and clone them and get them into every building. But what we can do is leverage this type of technology to get that teacher connected to these kids. And now all of a sudden we go from a class size of 5 to 20 or 25, dependent on what it is. So I see this concept growing. There's no more walls. There's no more boundaries, so to say, of where you need to be in touch with that teacher or in touch with that guest speaker. You don't got to fly somebody in or fly the kids somewhere to go see something cool. You can bring it right to them. It's not ideal. It's not the exact same thing, but it's damned close. So lots of options. And that's kind of what I can just kind of phrase all of this with is the options. It's damn near limitless.
Great. Any questions or experiences from anybody else who's joined the call on what you're seeing or what challenges you're looking to overcome moving forward? Speaking on webinars, I know isn't usually popular.
I was just going to make a comment. I was going to say I've been in video conferencing for 25 years, and I've used this little catchphrase about this is finally the democratization of video conferencing. It's easy enough to use. It's cost effective. Everyone knows how to use it. Unfortunately, one of the main drivers was COVID, but I think the outcome will be very positive, especially in education. I love the comment about having, one math teacher shared amongst different schools. I mean, that's an amazing way to use the application. I mean, that's huge to give kids, for example, a calculus class or a science class they normally wouldn't have because their school doesn't offer it. I've got a couple of kids right now going through middle school and high school, 13 and 15. And yeah, sometimes there's certain times of the day they can't get a class. But if you had another resource that could offer those classes, better education, more exciting, keeping kids engaged. COVID's a very hard time for a lot of these kids. But to keep them engaged in the classroom is a tremendous thing to do. And I will remark, the audio quality is fantastic. I will double down and say the most important part of a video call is the audio. It definitely keeps me engaged. So thank you.
Yeah, and just in case you want to see this again, That blows me away.
Yeah.
I'm a kid in a candy store every time I see that and do that.
I would say
I honestly,
oh, go ahead, jump in.
oh, no, the first time you did it, Troy, I was just kind of writing something down and I thought you pulled the trick and pressed the mute button.
Yep, nope,
Like,
promise.
I'm not
Promise.
joking.
Yeah.
I would say you probably get the first 5 minutes of class back and the last 5 minutes of class, because the amount of noise of rustling in the beginning of a classroom or class time, and then the kids that get out early from other classes and start making noises in the hall. You get 10 minutes more. You get, what is that? 20% more class time potentially.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah. And you can disable it. So if there's something where you do require background noise, or you want to hear everything that's going on in the room, it's one touch on the touchscreen to disable the true voice, and it's back. So should hear me clap again. And then one back on.
Yeah, I love that.
Great. I would say for anyone on the call that wants to see or demo or do a proof of concept, that I know ELB and Lenovo are very open to setting that up for you to test this equipment out, as Troy did in his school district. So please let us know how we can help you. Again, we're seeing across the board video conferencing as something that was nice to have. Now it's a necessity, and the use cases in the classroom are growing exponentially, not just for hybrid learning or distance learning, but for some of the things that Troy talked about, even on a bus or on a field trip, or to use those master teachers, throughout a dispersed group of buildings. There's a lot of things that we're seeing use case where authors are brought into a library, to a discussion, a book discussion, things like that you couldn't do face to face, and you can do now at a level of high quality and very simplistically. Okay, so just let us know how we can help, and we're happy to get a proof of concept set up for you.
Thanks, Andy. One other thing I'll add is, Troy didn't come, immediately deploy his 23 rooms, so you all may be looking at this right now, but starting small. And maybe, again, you're going to use a cart to be able to move from room to room to start, and then as you expand. So this doesn't have to be kind of a, all in type thing, but rather, as Troy has done it, kind of slowly introducing, virtual learning into your environment too. So even if you're not ready, to Andy's point, you just want to get in there and start testing, so you're able to see the capabilities and what this brings. We definitely can help support with the LB that. I am going to send just as a follow-up to Andy and Jeff, and they can share with you all just kind of an overview of all of our solutions. It includes what Troy's highlighted today with the Google Series 1, along with our team solution for classrooms and our Zoom solution for classrooms. So they'll get that out to you. And then if there's any way we can support and answer any questions, really appreciate, Troy, you sharing your experience. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Troy.
So it looks like we'll give a 10 minutes back unless anybody has any last minute questions here.
No.
Thank you so much for joining.